welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV, the only place to be on match day. And it is quite a big match day today because it's the Thomas Frank derby. Tottenham take on Brentford at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and boy, do we need a win at home. It looks pretty lonely up here, but I'm joined today so far. We have got more people coming, but Ash is stuck round the corner and Jimbo's going to come if he can make it. We've got the birthday boy with us today. Happy birthday, Chang. How are you?
Thank you very much, Miss Kate. It's been a birthday to remember for me thus far. I could not have expected, or rather, I could not have envisioned the kind of greetings that I've been inundated with over on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on WhatsApp, or Messenger for that matter. And it's all thanks largely to you and Mr. Boxall for giving me a platform, a place to call home to voice my opinions about Spurs over on a perfect match. And as always, I am always honored and very, very glad to be with you on whatever platform, whatever show, anytime, anywhere. And what a better way to get the day's fixtures by doing this pre-match pump up. And before we get into the proper show, I think it's only fair and I think it's only proper for us to let the audience know the current halftime score of the early Saturday kickoff. Without further ado, Miss Kate, the halftime score between Villa and Woolwich, please.
It is Aston Villa 1, Woolwich 0. Come on, Villa. Been a good game as well so far, but Matty Cash putting Villa 1-0 up. So they've been very impressive, Aston Villa, I've got to be honest. So let's hope that they can hang on to that lead.
And before you go on, I'd like to say, if I had a birthday wish today, my birthday wish is that my prediction, my 1-all prediction for the early Saturday kickoff does not materialize. That doesn't mean a Woolwich comeback for a win. Any kind of win for Villa will do. They can score a bucket load more for all I care, but just so long as they can, keep a clean sheet today, I would say that, Emilio Martinez has gone a long way to proving that he is the worthy Golden Glove Award winner for the last World Cup, seeing as how the fixtures for next summer's World Cup has already been announced. The groupings have already been announced, and that's going to be something to be looking forward to. And just as I said that, we have Mr. Ashmatic. Mr. Ashmatic has just joined us. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Ashmatic from Southeast Asia. Welcome. How are you doing, sir?
I am good. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me in, guys. Good to see you.
Always welcome, Ash. Always good to see you. So we've got, it's not your birthday as well, is it? 'Cause it's Mr. Chang's birthday today. So
no, my birthday was a month ago. So yeah, you missed me. Sorry, guys. Yeah,
let's hope we've got reasons to celebrate today.
Yes.
Before I go into Tottenham too much, obviously today's match, Ash, I've streamed with Chang. I wanted to know your thoughts on the game the other day against Newcastle and that penalty decision, because obviously I've been watching the Villa game this morning, and already there's been an incident where it could have been a penalty if we're going by those sort of rules. What did you make of that decision?
Yeah, it's a bit of inconsistency. I think it's been brought up quite a few times now. And obviously it was a weird one because I think the rules are saying if the eyes aren't on the opponent, if the eyes aren't on the ball and they're on the opponent, then there is a cause for concern. I don't have the rules in front of me, but that was something that they looked at, and that's the reason why they kind of went down that route. But like I said, consistency and inconsistency is the issue now, because referees are choosing when they want to apply this rule. So for me, I can understand for a lot of us, we felt like we got bumped. Let's be real.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's pretty much it, really. There's nothing much more. We could have had 3 points there.
Yeah, I was absolutely fuming, I must admit. Not many things get me that rolled up, but I was absolutely fuming. But on to the game today. Thomas Frank needs a win desperately today. 1 win in the last 8, 1 win in the last 7 in the Premier League. Spurs and Brentford both sitting on the same number of points. But Brentford, obviously, they lost Thomas Frank, they lost Norgard, they lost Visser, they lost Embuemo. And I think there's a lot of feeling around the Spurs community that Thomas Frank is still under the impression that he's still managing Brentford and can't take us to the next level. I mean, Chang, Raymond Vega's come out this week and said that Thomas Frank lacks the charisma and personality to manage Spurs, and that if we don't win today, he should resign. What do you think about that? I mean, that's not really helpful, is it, for the football club?
I mean, honestly, at this stage, if the players aren't fully invested in him, I think it's pretty pointless to repeat this process again of sack and hire another new manager. Because let's be honest, those players there, they are professional. Even the coaching staff, even us fans as well. We should be giving whomever is in the hot seat our full support. It could be Big Ange, it could be Conte, Jose, Nuno, even Pochettino for that matter. I think Thomas Frank should be given at the very least a full season to prove his mettle. If things don't work out, then we have a full summer ahead to see where the direction of this club goes. Because the World Cup and the players who shine in that World Cup will have a big bearing on whether or not the big names like Van der Ven or Christian Romero, our leading goal scorers, will they still be around to be helping out whoever's in the hot seat? But for the time being, I think Thomas Frank needs at the very least a full season. Let's get behind him regardless of the form that we are in. Let's support those players, cheer them on instead of booing them. If anyone is en route to the stadium, if anyone's already in that stadium right now listening into this whilst waiting for kickoff, support those players. I really am looking forward to seeing Sonny back on pitch side later today before kickoff for his farewell speech that he will be giving. But all in all, I think Thomas.
I think that's Tuesday.
Oh, sorry, it's Tuesday. Sorry,
yeah.
Yep, it's not today. I jumped ahead. Yeah, thank you for clearing that up. It's going to be Tuesday, but regardless whether it's Tuesday in Europe or whether it's today in the league proper, I think the fans should play their part in backing the players and manager alike, regardless of current form. Win, lose or draw, I will always be Tottenham till I die. And I have to reiterate, Thomas Frank should be given at the very least a full season to show what he's capable of. And if this club really is invested in backing him, let's just see now what is the next step that comes after Daniel Levy's stepping down. Will we actually push the boat out in January when the transfer window opens again in January? Or is it just going to be more of the same, buying youth, loaning them out, or treating them like Sakai, who I think hasn't even kicked a single minute of competitive football for us? So let's just wait and see. But as far as I'm concerned, for today and today only, back the players, please. Back the manager, and let's see what happens in the next 3 hours from now. Having said that, back to you, Miss A.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chang. Ash, what's your thoughts on Thomas Frank? Obviously, I haven't really streamed with you since Thomas Frank's come in. How are you feeling about what's going on at Spurs with Frank?
I think at the moment he needs to apply and he needs to really get hold of his team and focus on who he wants Spurs to be. He talks about long term, but he needs to focus on the short term for now, because obviously he needs to get a lot of fans on board really quickly. And it's really tough for him because he hasn't got matches to train. He hasn't got like those one game a week to kind of sit down with players and establish a style of play. And I think that's the issue at the moment. We're having games twice a week, and it was different when we had other managers come in. Other managers came in, they might have like Conte came in, it was like I think one game a week, or if it was one game a week, or if he had two, it was at Europa. So he still had chance to spend time with the main squad whilst he rotated the weaker squad in the Europa squad team, and that helped him to kind of propel us up the league and then get Champions League and finish above Arsenal that season. And then you fast forward to Ange. Ange also had that one game a week, and we saw the style of play was embedded into the team really quickly, and that's where that kind of got a lot of fans on board. And also the results also helped as well. You know, we hadn't lost in 10. And then you fast forward to Frank, and he's struggling at the moment. And like, it depends how you are as a fan, because some people just don't have that level of pain threshold. Does that make sense? Because some people will see it 3 games in and they'll be like, this is not what I signed up for. He's turning us into Brentford. And then some people, they're 7 games in, they don't have that pain threshold. 10 games in, 12 games in, it's starting to look a bit hard. And then because you don't have nothing to go off but Brentford, we start comparing it to Brentford. And then you also look at it how we do set up, because that's the evidence that we have. And he seems to be tweaking quite a bit and rotating the squad quite a bit as well. And because of that, it feels like he's not using Spurs as like the main guy. We need to be the team that puts our authority on teams, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And so we're not really playing to all of our strengths. And that's how the fan base feel at the moment. I still think he needs time. I'll give him to the end of the season, I'm being honest, unless he loses the dressing room. If he loses the dressing room, and this is where I was a bit unsure with Frank, when the Chelsea game happened, he saw Mickey Van der Ven and you see Jed Spence take their shirt off, blank him, walk past him, complete disrespect. And I thought, I think there's trouble in paradise. Do you understand? But since then, I've heard that they went up to him, they spoke to him, they apologized for, blanking him on the pitch. So I just have to go with that for now. But if I see any more of like the dressing room, like losing their heads, so they've gone, then I fear that, he's not going to be able to turn it around. However, this man knows Brentford inside out. Yeah. So I expect, despite what I'm saying, I expect to get the W today, because he's going to know those players. It's not even like so much Keith Andrews. Keith Andrews knows him as well. So that's the caveat to my own point. But at the same time, he personally knows what Rico Henry is like. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He knows his weaknesses. He knows if he's going to pass backwards, forwards, what he doesn't like. So he's going to be able to give those instructions to the Spurs players. That's my logic behind it. And so I'm hoping that, because he was talking about build up a lot in that presser, I'm thinking he might be a little bit more front footed today, because he was talking about 4-1, 3-2, 2-3. What is that? Sounds like a lot of jargon, right? Yeah. But he was talking about the phases of play, and he was talking about phase 2 and phase 3, which is when you're in the middle of the pitch or you're in the final third of the pitch. And so 4-1 is what we started with, when you have 4 players behind the ball, and then you've got the 1, as in the 1 midfielder with 4 in front of him, and then a 1 on top. So 4-1, 4-1. So you've got essentially 5 and a 5 attacking. But it was very pragmatic. Imagine you're attacking a team, but you've got 4 defenders behind you and a number 6 behind you. That's like 5 players in the defensive, like not attacking. Do you know what I mean? So then if you look at a 3-2, that's slightly more aggressive than a 4-1, because you're having less players at the back. You've got more players attacking. And then now he's talking about a 2-3, which is going back to Ange, because that's what Ange used to do. He used to have a 2-3, but then obviously there was problems because we used to get exploited on the wings. But for certain teams, you just have to take that risk, I feel. And I thought with Spurs fans, we thought we were going to get a mixed mash of a bit of Ange and maybe a little bit of Conte. But so far we've got defensive football. And I think that's why a lot of Spurs fans aren't behind this. And I understand it. I get it. So I'm looking at this game, not just for the win, but I'm also looking at how he approaches it. How do we set up and how do we go moving forward? And if we can use this as a springboard to take to other games, in my opinion. So, yeah, to answer your question, I think he still needs a season.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Brentford, they've struggled a lot away from home this season. They're really they're vulnerable from playing out from the back, so I think Spurs can get at them there. But then again, we're quite vulnerable playing out from the back as well. So it's going to be interesting. But I agree with what Ash says in the fact that Thomas Frank obviously knows these players. He should know kind of what to expect. I have put in my predicted 11, I mean, the team should be out anytime. I put a doggy in today with Odobert on the left, because I think that they make the pitch wider. And I think that's one of the areas we can exploit Brentford. Chang, what are you thinking? Do you think Odobert Udogie, or do you think Spence is going to get a go today?
If Matias Tel is available, I will put Tel on the left. Otherwise, if not, Odobier looks good on the left as well. Assuming that's not where Xavi Simons is going to be deployed today, knowing Thomas Frank, knowing he's tinkering around. So my preferred front three would be Tel first on the left, followed by Kolo Muani. He should be our centre forward ahead of Richarlison. And the right is a toss-up. The right is going to be a toss-up between either one of maybe Johnson, or you could even see Tel there on the right. But yeah, my country, Kudus. Sorry, I apologize. Yeah, it should be Mohamed Kudus on the right. So it's going to be Moani up front and Tel on the left with Kudus on the right. Assuming that Xavi Simons would be the number 10 behind those three in front of him.
Yeah, well, before I come to US, the team has just come out. So we shall see. We have got, is it showing on the screen? Where are we? No, it's not. There we go.
There it is. There we go.
We've got Vicario in goal. We've got Xavi, Richarlison starts, Archie Gray, Romero, Kudus, Porro, Spence, Bentancur, Van der Ven, and Kolo Muani. And then on the bench, we've got Kinski, Danso, Paulinia, Tel, Bergvall, Johnson, Odobert, Sarr, and Davis. Ash, basically what I just said about Udogie's just got blown out the water because he's starting Spence there. What's your thoughts on the lineup?
He's gone with Richarlison, which I thought he would, but then he's also gone with Kolo Muani as well. So it looks like he's going for crosses in the box again, and the natural width you were talking about doesn't seem apparent because he's playing Spence, who can get up and down, but again, he's a person where he doesn't really add natural width because he wants to cut inside and use his right foot. And maybe because he's playing a left back, is he using that to combat their right forwards? I'm not sure about the Spence one. I don't know if it's a thing where he's trying to just rotate to keep things fresh. But then a part of me is looking at it, is he trying to keep players happy? You know what I'm saying? Keep squad morale. So I'm not really a massive fan with Spence starting there, because I'd rather have Porro being rested and putting Spence on the right. And the only reason why I say that is I do understand Pedro Porro, his ability to switch to play, his ability to play balls over the top, his abilities to cross balls in those pockets. But I just feel like we don't have a lot of players that run in behind, if that makes sense. And Muani, for me, he likes it to feet a lot more and likes combination play. He can run in behind, but how many of those balls have that literally landed in behind and had those opportunities to do so? So I look at his profile. Richarlison, it's a weird one. He's not really a running behind merchant either. So again, why the use of Porro? I understand like crosses in the box, but a lot of those crosses for me, they haven't been working so far. So why not give that a change, give that a tweak? And then he's put Kudus on the right, as we know. Kudus obviously does his thing, but you look at Xavi, he's going to probably put Xavi out wide, but Xavi's not going to hug the touchline. He's going to come in a lot. He's going to come inside a lot. So again, we're going to be slightly narrow. We're going to lack width on that side. And I feel like Xavi's better. I guess it's a 4-2-2-2. So at Leipzig, he played in this formation. So let me spin it positively, because I sound like I'm a bit negative at the moment.
No, you don't.
So I'm gonna say that maybe having Xavi in that 4-2-2-2 system, we might see the best of him. He might come out better. And that's me as a fan looking at, the hope in me. Do you know what I'm saying? So Romero, obviously, he's played well off the back of Newcastle game. Van der Ven's partner in Romero, so that's really positive. Both of them
What's
are
it
like
about Gray
are
being in there?
strikers. Yeah, Archie Gray. A lot of people are asking for Archie Gray. So there's a positive in there. Archie Gray. Again, Pauline is on the bench. I know some people want to see Bentancur given a rest. But yeah, he's gone for Bentancur for maybe a bit of structure, I'm thinking. But again, in the Newcastle game, we needed him to be a bit more assertive, a bit more direct in his passing through the lines. But he seems to play it safe a lot of the time. He doesn't scan a lot. But maybe we see Gray venture forward a bit more venturous, and that combination might work. So time will tell. But Vicario, of course, he's our number one keeper at the moment, so no surprises there. But that's pretty much the 11 covered there. On the bench is quite strong. Odobert, he can obviously offer us width if we want to change to a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. Bergwall can come on. We know what he's about. He's a player that runs with the ball, does a lot of carrying. Again, he likes to combine. I think he's better when he's a little bit deeper rather than playing in the 10. Johnson obviously gives us that running behind, that direct threat, and his movement is telepathically. He's able to arrive in the box and just finish those chances off. Davies is back. I didn't see that one come in. And you got Sarr and Danso as well back in on the bench. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest. I was really disappointed with Bentancur against Newcastle. I thought he kept misplacing passes and whatnot. But someone's just said he's been pretty bad. But he's the only player that we have that can do the DM in possession stuff in our entire squad. We need an upgrade. Chang, what's your view on the team? Do you think? I mean, Udogie's not even on the bench. I don't know if he's got a knock. I don't know if he's got one eye on the Champions League match on Tuesday. What's your thoughts on the lineup?
Two things which I want to highlight, which do have a bearing on our rather disappointing loss to Fulham last weekend. The first one is Porro. Well, if Porro is still in the squad, and this might afford maybe Udogie back in the squad again in midweek against Slavia Praha. I think Porro has a lot to prove, especially if anyone saw that outburst, that exchange, the rather heated exchange that he had with the fans after the full-time whistle, in which he himself had to then come out on social media to explain why he had that outburst after the full-time whistle in the loss against Fulham. I think that the only way to shut the haters and the boo boys up is to do your job and do the job the best he can. And I think that's why he's there in the squad today. So expecting big things down that right wing from Porro. But otherwise, Richarlison and Kolo Muani, we could actually see something like a 4-4-2. That is too assuming. Let's see now. Yeah. Kudus on the right, maybe with Xavi on the left. It could be. I mean, there could be a number of ways how this is going to line up. We might even see Richarlison being pushed out to the wide left as a left winger. It's happened before, and it will be very interesting to see how we actually tinker with the squad as the game progresses. But that is a very strong lineup. It's got to be said. And Ben Davies back in the squad again. That's also a big boost, although I doubt he's going to be seeing any game time today. Looking at the bench, Miss Kate, I think that is a very, very strong bench. I mean, any one of those players on the bench, barring maybe Davies, you could give a shout out to. They all those players on the bench, they have what do you call this, enough in them to replace any of those players in the starting lineup. And that's what we want to see. We want to see competition for places. We want to see players being, on their toes, and being made aware that at any one time, the moment their form drops, the moment that they're not pulling their weights, that they don't pull their socks up, they can be replaced. So let's just see what happens in the first half with that starting 11. If things don't go according to plan, well, good news is we have the likes of Bergwall to call upon if we need his creativity. We have super sub Johnson. Hopefully he can pick up from where he left off last season, being our top goal scorer. And we also have Tel and Odobert to call off the bench, both of them where I was actually expecting either one of them to be starting well. Surprise, surprise, neither of them are starting. So a lot of strong options to call the bench, Miss Kate. And well, I'm going to say this about this game on top of that starting 11. If anyone knows how to break Brentford down, it's got to be their former manager who just left them in the summer. If we fail to break Brentford down at home with their former manager, I think it's going to be pressure on Thomas Frank, because if he can't even get one over his former club, then what's the point of having someone like him to see if he can step up to the next level and take us as a club to the next level as well? So yeah, I hope those players will be playing for him. That, I think, is the big thing, to see whether those players will be playing for him. And now that Jet Spence is back in the squad, it looks like he's going to be at left back with Porro at right back. So let's just see what Spence has to offer at left back. And all the best to Romero and Van der Ven keeping a clean sheet against Brentford. God knows we really need that more than their goals. I think we need the clean sheet more than their goals today. Having said that, back to you, Miss Kate.
Can I, before you go further, Kate, I'm sorry to cut you, yeah. What do you not make of this Richarlison, like the persistence with it? Like, is that, are we happy with that?
I just think where else can he go? I mean,
because I feel like he's making a team around, like, trying to fit Richarlison in, and Moani, if that makes sense. And I don't feel like he truly wants to leave him out for that long of a period. I think like that's his guy. I feel like it's his guy because he's constantly starting him and he's giving him a lot of chances. So I feel like if Richarlison wasn't there, do you think the formation would be slightly different?
Probably, but do you know what? In all fairness, I'm definitely not what you describe as a Richarlison fan. Anyone who watches this will know, but he's scoring goals for us at the minute. He's our top scorer, and although I think he's pony, and for the majority of a match he can just do absolutely nothing and come up with a goal, I think at the minute Frank's not got that much of a choice. I mean, you could argue Scarlett could get a game, but I don't rate him either.
Do we have to play two up front though? That's what I'm asking. Could we not?
No, but I think two up front has kind of worked. Do you not? I mean, I know that I'm saying that, but as Frank said in his
fair enough.
Frank said in his press conference the other day, we've scored 23 goals, which isn't bad. And I do think two up front, for me, I think it works better, but I still don't think Richarlison's the guy. But someone's just said he's trying to inflate Richarlison's value so they can sell him. I don't even know anyone that would buy him, but I was actually going to come on to a different player. Yeah, Everton, maybe. I've been saying that since the day we signed him. Matias Tel, Ash, obviously he's been left out of the Champions League squad, so he's not eligible to play on Tuesday. Do you think he must, first of all, do you think Frank just doesn't rate him? And do you think there must be an element of frustration on Tel's part because he's not getting a chance?
Tel's got a strong mentality. That's one thing I'll say about the kid. But yeah, if I was him, I'd be thinking, I'm a bit confused here. I thought, this is my time. We haven't got many games where I can play. I've been left out. I accepted my fate. Now's the time I get, give me a chance to prove myself at least. And he's having to come off the bench with very little time to do whatever he needs to do. And this is why I was coming back to that Richarlison point. I thought, Richarlison or even Moani, all right, if you're saying Richarlison's our top scorer, then would you not gamble on Tel a bit and give him a little run out? But then I think it's down to the formation, because if you had 3 attackers as opposed to 2 attackers, I see Kudos playing as a right, and I see those 2 up top. So ultimately, Tel loses out because of that. That's what I mean. So if you had Richarlison, okay, let's say Richarlison did stay up top, then you could have Tel on the left, like Chan was saying, and you could have Kudos on the right. Do you know what I mean? You've got more attackers that way. But he's kind of persistent with this 2 up top, and that tells me we're gonna focus down that right hand side and aim to funnel crosses into the box. The problem with that now is a lot of teams, they've got height in their back line, and they know what we're gonna want to cross that ball into the box, and they force us down one side, and then they just literally header the ball out the box. The keeper comes and catches it, or what we saw against Newcastle was Hall was ultra aggressive on Kudos and it was super tight and didn't let him have any chance to turn and face him up until maybe when Hall got a bit tired and it was later on in the game. So I just wanted to see something a little bit different in terms of how we approach the game. And I think the lineup and knowing your profiles and giving other players chances would help that. Like, for example, Tel and Odobert, they've got a great relationship for the French under-21 squad. And if you look at combinations, I remember I was talking about Odobert. Sorry, not Odobert. I was talking about Porro spamming crosses in, playing balls over the top. When we've got players like Mawani, we've got players like Tel. Look, Odobert wants ball to feet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've got lots of players like Xavi. He wants ball to feet. We've got a lot of profiles that want ball to feet, but we persist on trying to put Mawani and Richarlison into the box and cross balls into them. And so far, I haven't really seen that pay dividend. Do you know what I mean? Where it has paid dividend at times is when we've had set pieces and we win the second ball, and then you see like a Paulinho win the second header and Bentancur is there to finish, or vice versa, box crashing, and it might work that way. Do you know what I mean? And that's why Frank was like, we must win our duels. We must win our duels. And I look at that lineup again, and it feels like duels again, duel winning, winning the second ball. And I've got nothing against players showing intensity, fighting for the badge. Do you understand? But in terms of mixing your game up, sometimes you go down a line, you do double width, meaning like the fullback will overlap, the winger will underlap, or vice versa, to get those crosses into the box. But sometimes you can switch to play and use the other wing. But because we haven't got another winger, like we're forced down we're a bit lopsided. And then also, I don't mind a little bit of central play, central build up, where we play out from the back, we draw the opposition in, we play through the lines, and then we hit the ball over the top. We play the ball in behind, So it's not always predictable. We don't teams don't know how to set up against Spurs. A bit like the problem we had with Ange. We always knew that the fullbacks were going to invert. So all you had to do is be compact against Spurs and then hit the channels, and then we were undone. So it's like different poisons, you know what I mean? Different managers, different poisons. And I think why a lot of fans may have gone the other way to Frank is because we thought he was the master tactician and tweak his style to but at the moment it's feeling very similar. Even though he's tweaking the formation, it's still down the right, cross the ball into the box. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope that they find a different way in this game and we score and we show a different pattern of play and we can get behind it, because that's what fans need. They need hope, they need excitement. Do you know what I mean? And that's where I'm at the moment with the whole Tel conversation. Sorry to go around the circle.
No, that's all right. Actually, I'll just quickly, before I come to you, Chang, obviously you asked that question about Richarlison. So would you, Ash, leave Richarlison out and try something completely new?
I would try something new. I would try something, because what we've been doing hasn't been working, right? And I'm saying, look, all right, supposedly you wanted to say, look, Richarlison's our top scorer. You can't argue the stats. Cool. Play Richarlison. But I'm saying, let's add some width on the other side. Let's not be so predictable and play those long balls, and then lose possession, and then we lose momentum. We don't have the whole, and that's what gets the fans quiet, because we don't have the ball. You want to keep the pressure on, and by keeping the pressure on, you're giving it to players that are good. You're letting the players play a little bit close to each other, so you can form little triangles. They can do little 1-2s if they need to. They can do little passes around the corner. They can go down the line, the byline, and do cutbacks, or they can sting it across the box like we used to do. And then the other winger hits it at the back, back post. Johnson used to love that. So I'm not against the crosses. I'm not. I'm just saying sometimes just mix it up and add another tool to your kit bag. Do you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. So whether it's Richarlison starts or Mawani, I prefer Mawani, because again, when we're trying to get out of a press, or we're trying to build a team and play through the thirds, Mawani can look after it and he can do a wall pass, and then we can progress up the pitch. Whereas sometimes, or a lot of the time, when Richarlison receives the ball, he will feel the person on his back and he would try to win the foul and he would drop to the floor. And referees know that and they don't give it. And then all of a sudden, that whole move is broken down. Do you know what I mean? So that's my concerns more than anything. But irrespective of that, I still think that we're going to get the job done. I still think like the reason the manager has picked this squad is because he knows their shortcomings. Do you know what I mean? And so he knows better than I do. And I respect that. And I think, we can get it done.
I mean, Chang, obviously Frank's come out and admitted that he doesn't yet know who his best 11 is. Do you think that's a little bit concerning?
If anything, I think it's the reverse. If those players that he has right now in his hands, they know that every one of them, they are equally capable in the positions that they are, favorited. And if they have shown enough in training to give Thomas Frank a big headache as to whom his best 11 is, if I were the manager, that's exactly what I would say, because just so I can keep the team morale fresh, to show my players that I have no favorites. There is no sort of, this player is the teacher's pet or the apple polisher or my my crony in the squad. So as a manager, I think that's a good thing to convey to the players that either one of at any one time, any of these players can be dropped or they can be promoted. And with Udogi not even on that bench, I really hope it's more of a case of a rotational. And for Thomas Frank to come out saying things like this, for the players it's good, but in hindsight, in retrospect, from a fan's perspective, that might actually send out the wrong message. He might actually give us the wrong impression as to how he is going to shape that squad in his image in the months to come. I really do hope that this is just something that he's saying to sort of get the board or even our scouting, our recruitment to invest more than just a Xavi Simons and a lone Polinia. In the coming weeks when the January transfer window opens. I honestly think that come Christmas or maybe even come New Year's Eve, we will have a good idea as to where we are going to be headed into the new year. And if this is going to prove to be another trophyless of season, or if it's going to be fruitful at the end, let's just give Thomas Frank till the end of the calendar year to see how he molds this squad in his image. And I really think that if there was a better time for him to actually stamp his identity in the game amongst us fans, let it be today. Let it be today against his former club at home. Now that the holiday season is in full swing, let's go all out for this. We've seen a lineup, Richarlison and Kolo Muani up front in a 4-4-2. I'm all for it. And if things don't work out well, we still have the likes of Tel, Odebeer, Sar, Bergval, and maybe even what's his name now?
Johnson.
Yep, that's him. Johnson again. Ole. I mean, come on. The very
Seems a
least,
long time ago since we sung that. Let me tell you.
at the very least, please get a shot on target in that first half. That's all I'm asking for. I could not have asked for more than just a shot on target at home, please. Having said that, back to you, Miss Kate.
Oh my God, yes. Apparently, one of Frank's quotes that he used all the time in Brentford, when he was at Brentford, Ash, is that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And that he wants to build a culture at the club. But for me, culture doesn't win you matches, strategy does. Do you think like the tweaks in the formation, the tweaks in the players, the constant kind of fiddling about with the team is hindering? Or do you think it's the other way and he needs to, like you said earlier, be braver and change it completely?
Yeah, I just think when he's tweaking it, that just tells me that something he's prepared for hasn't quite got right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why he's having to change things. That's why managers take so long to make substitutions. If you see them make a substitution at half time, that tells you like, I've completely got it wrong. We need to make a big change here. And we saw that against Arsenal at half time. Straight away, we swapped over one of our players. And so, yeah, of course, as the game happens, you need to manage the game state. You need to watch what's happening on the pitch. And if we're getting overrun in certain areas, then yeah, you need to kind of circumvent that. You need to kind of tweak to kind of navigate and stop the opposition from getting ahead. So in my opinion, he's got every right to tweak. But at the same time, you want to create symmetry. You want to create a system where it's consistent, because the players need to know what the manager wants. They need to know the philosophy and principles going into the game, so then they can build on that. And also, the constant changing in personnel doesn't help, in my opinion, because you want to build relationships between the players. So I heard like the front three or the front four, we've changed it over 10 times this season. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so how are we going to build an attacking team when that attack is always constantly being moved around? Like, you need to have the left back needs to have a relationship with the left winger, so he knows what pockets he's going to drop into. He needs to know where, okay, we're telepathic. You've seen it with, like, I don't like to mention them, but down the road, Saka and Ben White, they've also got that understanding where they know each other going to be. You could possibly say that with maybe Porro and Kudus, because they played the most amount of times with each other. But on that left-hand side, there's been no continuity. There's been no, no synergy in that particular side. And so if we're going to overload one side, I was hoping that we would see a lot of switches of play to exploit the space that's opened up on the other side. Do you know what I mean? And then
that there's been no sort of consistency on that left side because he just doesn't know who is the best out of the ones that we've got?
I think regardless, you just have to have your guy, trust him, and go with it. And even if he has a few bad games, just keep going with it and say, look, you're my guy from now on. I think you're the best player. We're going to stick with you. And then from there, if it doesn't work, then you're like, all right, cool. I've given him enough rope to hang himself with.
Yep.
Fans can see it. We can see it. Let's change it now. But where you're changing every game, like I fail to understand how these players, especially on that left-hand side, can build a relationship with each other and then help move forward and help our attack, because that's the biggest thing. And I think going back to Tel, I hate to go back to it, but if I was him, I'd be looking for a move. And I'm not surprised that he's been linked with Roma very heavily. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And obviously he's gonna want to continue his development in the France under-21 squad. If he's not playing, like, how is he going to be developing at his age? Because the more minutes you get as a 20-year-old or 21, or however old he is, the more you're going to improve. You're going to work out. He hasn't got the minutes to see where his weaknesses are and to work on them, for coaches to work with him on the pitch, off the pitch, etc. So, like, yeah, I think that ultimately is hurting our squad if you are chopping and changing, but then you're not giving others a start as well.
Yeah, I hear you. I did put the Brentford lineup up, but it's so small, so I'll read it instead. They've got Kelleher in goal, Chris Aja, Vanderberg, Collins, Coyote, Henderson, Yarmaloy, Damsgaard, and then up front they've got Sharda, Thiago or Igor, and Katara. That Igor Thiago, Chang, I think he's dangerous. He's someone I'll be looking out for today. Anyone that I mentioned that sort of was on your radar that Spurs have got to keep an eye on?
I think to single any one of them out might be dangerous, given how I think the goals can honestly come from any one of them. As far as I'm concerned. So, but yeah, all those are those names that you mentioned earlier, Thiago. That will be the one to look out for. I think that's the one that both Romero and Van der Ven have really got to keep an eye out if they are going to get this clean sheet against Thomas Frank's old club at home. And I mean, honestly, as long as we don't, do what we did against Fulham in those crazy opening 5 or 6 minutes, where we somehow managed to concede two before the 10th minute, I think it's very imperative that we just boot the ball long and not afford them any sort of easy chances, if that makes any sense. I think that if as just so long as we can keep our mistakes to a minimum, I think we should be able to deal with anything that they can throw at us, regardless of who they have at whatever position they think is going to be a potential threat to us in about half an hour's time. But let's just see how that first half plays out, and this I will have to say very strongly, not just only about the Brentford starting 11, even their subs as well. The subs that come off the bench, they have players on that subs bench which I think have the potential to hurt us as well. And looking at our current form, I think that they would try to make the most of our poor home form. And I think that is something that we can capitalize on, whether it's on a counter attack, whether it's in a very aggressive build up. Hopefully not too aggressive that in which we leave holes open. I mean, yeah, apart from Thiago, I think not many other of those names really stand out for me. But yeah, again, as I said, we should not single out any one player to give any sort of special attention, because, as I said earlier, the goals can come from any of those players, even our own players for that matter. You never know. One of our own players might even turn out to be their man of the match today, which is so Spursy of us. So I really hope that doesn't come to pass as well. But yeah. Let's just treat each and every single one of those Brentford players with respect, and just long as we stick to our game plan, I'm pretty certain we can avoid defeat. And if we can get more than a single point today at home, that will be a big bonus for us. Having said that, back to you, Miss Kate.
Yeah, I mean, Ash, when I said Thiago, you kind of looked like that. Is that who you're thinking as well? Because I don't know how they find these strikers, because we certainly can't find them.
They've got the data model that them and Brighton share. But obviously, after a while, Brighton moved off and they had their own, they advanced on it. But yeah, coming back to the team, Brentford, they've got a fullback that is bang on form, and he's the second highest in terms of chance creations out of all fullbacks in the Premier League. I call him Coyote Wild. He's Coyote. He's from Fiorentina. He's up and down. He's got a massive engine, and we're actually looking at him. That's how good he is as a right fullback. So if you want to scout a player, start looking at Coyote. They've also got another player in Kevin, no Home Alone, Sade.
Yeah,
Sade.
Do they call him Kevin? Is he the one that's from Brazil?
No, so Kevin Sade. It's Kevin Sade.
So who's the?
Isn't there
a player? There's a player in the Premier League called Kevin, right? That's it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. So Sade, he was also linked to us because he's like a physical, more stronger, powerful Brennan Johnson. Direct. He had the same amount of goals as Brennan Johnson last season with 11 goals in the league. I'm not sure how much he got in the League Cup and other competitions, but yeah, he's a direct runner and behind. But he's going to be on their right, I believe, unless Altera is on the right. I'm not too sure. Anyway, Spence, I think that's the reason why they probably put Spence in there. So both of their wingers, they're quite up and down physical. I think Altera is underrated, personally. He was doing well at Bournemouth, I thought. So Brentford did well to get him in. And obviously, this is a player I've liked from Fiorentina days, Damsgaard. He's like their number 10. He's short, physical, can hold the ball off, pulls wide at times, gets crosses into the box. And this whole crossing into the box, for Brentford, it makes more sense. I remember watching Arsenal, they're whipping crosses in the box. Sade got a header, Raya snapped a good save, it'll come off the crossbar, but it was a good reaction save that he did. And yeah, Thiago's got that profile. You need to put a ball into a box for him because he's physical, he's dangerous, he wants it. So it makes sense for Brentford to want to slap crosses into the box. Again, the last player I'll mention, because I won't go through the whole team, even though I could, Henderson. Henderson is that kind of coach on the pitch. That's what Liverpool are missing right now. He's the one that's going to bark instructions. He's the one that's going to tell. Like, he's that experienced head. Like when things aren't going right, he's going to be able to calm them down, cool them down, and his work as well. For his age as well, he's still got a good engine on him, and that's why he's been included back into the England squad. But yeah, his weight of pass, his switches of plays, balls over the top. He's that type of guy that can dictate, and we need to put a player on him, especially.
Yeah,
we don't want to get overrun. But yeah, as I said before, people were saying we need a number 10 that's a bit more physical. And Damsgaard, last season, he was like one of the top goals and assist contributors in the league for Brentford. So yeah, he's another player that can be tricky on the day. So that's something that maybe they're looking at. They're looking at their forward players. They're looking at the fullbacks bombing on, wing back sometimes inverting, being a goal threat. And so again, set pieces, long throws, no different. Coyote's going to be on those long throws. You know, I think he's got. I think four of his throws have been converted into goals.
wow.
If I remember right. So we definitely need to look out for that compared to like a Danso, for example. I know he hasn't played as much for us. But yeah, it's still something that we need to look out for. But yeah, set pieces, corners, the usual stuff, stuff that, we took from Brentford, they're going to do to us. So it's going to be like Spider-Man meme, like, what I'm saying? Someone's looking at you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a tight game. It is coming to that time, guys, because we have got the watch along in about 20 minutes' time with Brian Daigle and the lads, or Sim or Ben. I can't remember who said it was. Go on, Chang. Sorry.
Okay, very quickly, sorry, Miss Kate. Before we go into the predictions, I'd like to very quickly ask Mr. Ashmatic, since he knows so much about that Brentford team and those players. Mr. Ashmatic, if you could choose one player and one player only for which Thomas Frank to rate his former club to bolster our squad in January, whether it's going to be a bit part squad player, a bench warmer, or even a player who walks into the starting 11, which player would you like Thomas Frank to rate his former club for in January, if you could just choose one player from their current squad?
Yes, Villa have just scored. Sorry. Yes. In the 94th minute. Come on.
Come on, villain.
Again, I get hard done. Again, I get hard done on my 3 points. I was so close to getting my 3 points for my 1-0 prediction. But sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Ashmatic.
It's a tough one because I like Damsgaard a lot. But Thiago's box threat is really impressive. He's like the second highest scorer after Haaland. I mean, you can't really argue that. But it's like, how many of those are penalties? So maybe I'll pull away. I might have to stay with Damsgaard. I really like Damsgaard. Like, let's watch him today. I'm gonna decide today, but I'm gonna stick with Damsgaard for now. From what I've seen over the season and the season gone by as well, I really like his profile, his low center of gravity, his physicality, his ability to pull wide and stay central, combine, find balls, like, weight of pass, crossing, even finishing. But his creativity, his overall creativity, I really love it. And I think he would help someone like maybe Xavi. If you had Damsgaard, Xavi could maybe pull over to one side and play on the right hand side, and yeah, it would be cool. But let me not talk too much. Let me not prepare.
No, sorry.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ashmatic. Thank you very much for your input.
You say Voj?
The full-time whistle's gone. Thank the Lord. So Arsenal have dropped 3 points today, which is wonderful. Yes, and it was Buendia who scored, who I believe scored against us when we played Villa as well. But he scored the winner. So
Villa showed us how to do it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
when we go home, we have to set it right.
Our best friends are Villa fans, and they're all there today. And one of them is their birthday tomorrow, so it will be a very nice early birthday present for them. But it is that time to get your score predictions, guys and girls. Brian Daigle's come in nice and early and said a 3-1 Spurs win today. Arsenal players look peed off. I'm sure they do. Mr. Chang, Tottenham Brentford. How do you see this one going?
I'll be sticking with that prediction I gave you 23 hours earlier, yesterday during the weekend preview for Match Week 14 on the perfect match. I would be sticking with my 2-0 prediction. I really want that clean sheet more than anything, more than the 3 points, more than Xavi Simons' first ever goal in Lily White. That clean sheet for me, I think, is what eludes us from actually being a top team. If we can just cut out those mistakes, if we can cut out those errors playing out from the back, if we can cut out those unnecessary turn of possessions that we so often concede from, that would be a big bonus for us, honestly, I feel. But yeah, 2-0 for me, Miss Kate. And I honestly want to see Xavi Simons get his first goal in Lily White. And if, this is a big if Kolo Muani can build on his 2 goals that he scored against PSG and get his first Premier League goal for us in Lily White as well, that would be a big bonus. So yeah, 2-0 for me, Miss Kate. My goal scorers would be Kolo Muani and Xavi Simons. Having said that, back to you.
I hope you're right. I'd love to see Simons get his first goal. I'm going for a 3-2. I'm going for a goal fest today. Don't ask me where that's coming from, but I've just got a feeling it's going to be close. And yeah, I'm going for 3-2, and I'm going to do Mawani to get 2. No, I'm not. I'm going to have Mawani to get 1, Romero to get 1, and Van der Ven to get 1 as well. Ashmatic, what are you fancying for the game? What's the scoreline you fancy?
Hey, listen, what I would love is for all of our attacking players to score goals today. I would love that. I would love Xavi to score. But I think we will win 2. I'm going to go for a 2-1. I think it's going to be close. I'm not going to go as high scoring, but I'm going to go for 2-1. Looking at the lineup, I just feel I'm not sure if Frank's fully taken the handbrake off, but
yeah,
I do want to see some positive play from Xavi, some link up with him and Kudos. I think they're 2 of our best players. And yeah, I want Moani to get on the score sheet also, man. I think he needs a goal in the Premier League that should help set him off. Look, if Richie scores, again, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind being in the mud as well. So
yeah. I'm always in the mud.
Spurs, look, Spurs will do this to you. I just want us to win. Arsenal, obviously, that was a massive victory for it's not just for Spurs, you know, it's for the whole league. Like,
yes. As Chang said, the whole of British football is celebrated today, apart from Arsenal fans.
Honestly, I feel just in this moment and this moment in time, all is well again in British football after that final result at Villa Park. All is well again in football. Having said that, back to you, Ms. Kate.
Indeed. 5-1, Spurs easy win. We've got a lot of clean sheets as well, 1-0s and 2-0. So look, let's hope, whatever the scoreline, let's hope we can get a home win. Chang, thank you as always for coming on, especially on your birthday. What's going on over at Spurs Diehards?
Spurs Diehards will be having a post-match review later tomorrow night, I believe, at 9 p.m. I'm not sure if they're going to do one later tonight after the game, but for tomorrow night on a Sunday night, they will definitely be doing one at 9 p.m. I've just been told by Senor Jose Garcia, my FA, who's now at the stadium. He's at the game today. He will be doing a 11:30 or rather half to noon tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Over on Tel Cockerel. That's where we do our post-match review ourselves tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. That's going to be on Tel Cockerel. And if nothing else, absolutely looking forward to the next installment of the perfect match, where hopefully, Miss Kate, we have 2 wins in 2 to report come next Friday before next weekend's fixtures. Having said that, thank you very, very much as always for having me here on the pre-match pump up, and to Mr. Ashmatic, it's a pleasure and honor as always to share the screen with you, sir, and to everyone else who's watching the game, be it from the stadium or from the comfort of own home. Enjoy the match and come on, you Spurs. Chang, over and out from Southeast Asia.
Thank you, Chang. Enjoy the rest of your birthday, and thanks for coming on. Ash, always a pleasure to get your expertise on the show. What's going on over at Spurs Kings TV?
Same old same, man. Listen, we've moved to Monday, so I don't know if guys have known we're doing Monday night shows now. We're the late night crew, so if you can stay awake, we start at 10 p.m. and we're literally going to break down the game from start to finish. Wednesday we do rival show, so if you're here for a bit of banter, a few of my guys, we just have a sit down and we have a little bit of a laugh. Take the mick out of each other as well. Nothing too serious. So
that's what it's all about.
That's it, man. That's what football's about, man. It's a bit of banter, a bit of laugh. Yeah, that's what it is, really. So yeah, guys, tune us in. Make sure you sub. We're trying to get to 5K, but make sure, more importantly, you subscribe to these two lovely people above me, and also you like and subscribe to We Are Tottenham TV, one of the biggest channels going at the moment.
The OGs.
The OGs in the game, man. Trust me. Listen, we have to just support each other and help each other's channels grow. We all need that support. We all need that help, man. But yeah.
Exactly that. Thank you, Ash, for your time. And yeah, you can sub to me and Jimbo. We're back doing our lunchtime shows and Premier League predictions on Fridays with Chang and Jess. So yeah, please do get over, subscribe to us, subscribe to Ash, subscribe to Chang. And look, we will be back, Jimbo and I and guests on Tuesday at, I think it's 6:30. I think we kick off at 8 on Tuesday against Slavia Prague. So we'll be back here on Tuesday for the pump up. Enjoy the match, guys. Cheer on Spurs. Even more important to win now, so we can have a double celebration that the bottlers lost and if we win. And as always, guys, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.